as we watch another pass here of the Dragonlady coming down the center of the runway, I just wanted to emphasize that it is due to the partnerships such as the community and Beale Air Force Base that allow us to continue the mission of defending our nation both here in California and around the world.
We're talking about women in aviation event this weekend, and the 11th woman to fly the U2 is in the second T-38 right there. Call sign is Drift. Working stuff, all the secret stuff, and all the little numbers like that. And the T-38, the fast passes, the jet that's capable of
flybys, and here she comes again from the left. Take it away, Huggy.
Well, we've got Mongo, Lieutenant Colonel Ryan flying the aircraft in, that beautiful Dragonlady, aircraft 1071, bringing it in for a 10-foot low approach. Yeah, that wingspan is as long as it looks. Yeah, it is 104 foot. You'll notice the chase car coming into position, driven by another U2 pilot, Dean Neely, call sign Gucci. That chase car acts really as a safety observer for the landings, and the chase car person does so much more during the 10-hour U2 mission that you never see. But the visible part is this right here, making altitude calls, safety calls. Mongo turning on the noisemaker on the U2. The engine on the U2, GE engine, it's the same engine that's on the B-2 bomber. They've got 4, we've got 1. It's coming around the corner right now with the U2.
Approach speed for you pilots out there is about 90 knots, about 100 miles an hour. Slows down. It touches down at about 68 knots, so about 75 to 80 miles an hour. Pretty slow. If you look at the fuselage, but not the wing, you'll recognize it looking a lot like the F-104. Sure, Lockheed Skunk Works did take the F-104 design to create the U2. Put the long wing on it, change the tail, and you got it. In fact, the number 104
is found very commonly in the U2. The F-104, it's a 104-foot wingspan, and 104 U2s were built over time. Allows the plane to get above 70,000 feet. That's over 13 miles above the Earth. 1,001 square foot of wing on the aircraft. Very quiet for now. For now. The engine in there, a GE engine, is the same engine you'd find in the B-2 bomber. They've got 4, and of course the U-2 just a single engine aircraft. That engine put in the aircraft in the 1990s really sips the gas. We carry less than 3,000 gallons on board, but we can fly in excess of 13 or 14 hours on the aircraft. It doesn't air refuel. We don't want to fly any longer than that. That's about all your body can take. But the characteristics of the aircraft make it tough to land, and the altitude variations when you're coming in to land can be a little bit skewed, if you will, when you're in a spacesuit. So Goose will be making altitude calls. It sounds like 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. And he's letting you know how many feet above the runway that you are as you're flying it on down.
So this is a run through. We're not ready to land just yet.
That's correct. In fact, you can see he doesn't have the flaps down. He's got a clean wing out there. He'll take it down to 10 to 30 feet, I think, for the low approach. You'll see Gucci out there in the white Dodge Charger. Bringing nice and low he is. And now he's going to put the noisemaker on. the front landing gear and the rear landing gear. He's essentially landing a motorcycle with a 104-foot wingspan.
Very cool. As we recover the T-38s as well, and you see slowly off to the right now, the U-2 approaches.
So again, flying around at about 90 knots, and he'll touch down and land at about 70 knots, so about 80 miles an hour. Once he's on the ground, there are no left and right landing gear to keep the wings from touching, so Mongo is going to have to use the ailerons in the wing and fly that wing all the way until the plane comes to a stop.
And that wing does not want to stop lifting. That is...
It really doesn't. If you were landing with about 15 knots of headwind, you can stop the wing, stop the plane on the runway, and fly the wing up and down, just sitting there with about 15 to 20 knots of headwind. See the chase car moving into position. The tail wheel on the aircraft really looks a lot like what you'd find on the back of an A1 Sky Raider. There's just two of them side by side. It's a glorified skateboard wheel, two of them side by side. Nothing to it. The U-2 being the first aircraft built by the Skunk Works, Kelly Johnson's Skunk Works down in Burbank, California, a secret division of Lockheed. Later doing the SR-71. The F-117, which is another aircraft that Gucci also flew. He flew the 117 in the later part of his career. He's down on the ground. How about a round of applause? He's keeping the wing off the ground. It's pretty good, I think. Now, Mongo's one of our lead instructor pilots. He runs our standardization division. A lot of combat experience with the U-2. Yeah, you're right, Rick. So there's just a plate underneath each wing, and they just wear away. There's an ablation, and when they get low enough, maintenance will come out and stick a new plate on there. As long as you don't hit anything raised up like a taxi light or a pole, it's not a thing. He's just balancing that wing all the way down the runway.